So first we'll talk about my story, then we'll talk about you as HR professionals. How did I get in jail? Well, the general counsel for my company rushed into my office one day and said, "You've got to fix this now." And he went, "Wait a minute, I'm not ready to be an employee. I need more time to fund my pension plan, thank you." So here I stand with a decision to make, the moment of truth. Do I just let him remain a contractor, and in violation of the IRS regs? I am the responsible party per the IRS, because as the Vice President of HR, I classify employees as contractors or employees. Yeah, that was not a good day. Flashed their badges in the lobby, requested an immediate meeting, wanted all the I-9 forms, and la lista. I have to tell you, even from the time that this case was filed, I thought they'll just settle because that's what we always did. But like I said, during the trial, I learned things about myself I never knew before. It was interesting. Any other questions? Yes?
Has enough time gone by for you to reflect on this as a good thing?
Yes. Thank you for that question. Has enough time gone by for me to reflect on this in a good way?
Let him be a contractor and just leave it at that.
I gave it so much thought at the time and had decided so deeply that he needed to be an employee that I didn't really find myself looking back and saying, I wish I would have just let him stay a contractor. But in this case, when you read any officer of any corporation must be an employee in the IRS 3121, it's like, I don't know how else to interpret that without just looking the other way. And I showed up and my world just went crazy, and then things just seemed to happen as if I were in the middle of a tornado. Oh, eosinophilic esophagitis isn't a big deal. Her son wouldn't have died from that. They judged my child. They said, oh, she was too young to be a vice president of HR. They made all these really crazy comments. But the biggest thing they did is they applied the wrong law. And that was what the Court of Appeal said, we cannot let this go through when they apply the wrong law. One of the jury members apparently walked in and said, I'm tired, I missed a trip to Hawaii because of this thing. I want to go home, so in the state of California, you can be fired for anything, for any reason, so let's just apply the at-will doctrine and go home. Are employees required to follow the chain of command? Oh, you guys are so good. They are not. They are not. So to answer the question in the back, when you find yourself in a situation where you have information that needs to be brought to light, 3 things to remember, okay? You want to prepare yourself, protect yourself, and then brace yourself. So she's saying in human resources, we have access to so much confidential information, and how do we know what we can bring forth without really getting in trouble and what's appropriate to bring forth? And my response to you would be, bring forth the information needed to make your case strong and nothing more. If there is an outside way for you to report something, if it feels right to you, then absolutely do that. The problem is that it's hard to remain anonymous. You might be anonymous at first, but it's hard to remain in that way. Being careful who you trust is kind of easy to say and hard to do, but in this case, if you're blowing the whistle on something that's as controversial as what I did, you kind of have to feel as if you're alone